Dear students, last time in the design chapter of the human computer interaction course, we were discussing the process of the design and the various steps in the design process. We discussed in detail last time the requirements phase, and we saw the different methods like know your user, persona, and probe packs. This class we will discuss the next step of the design process, which is the analysis phase. Now that we have collected all the information that is required to create an interface, the next important step is that we will analyze that information. Some of the information is good, some of it is bad. So, for example, a person who comes and wants to make the design of the SIS website for the students, he will collect initially all types of information from the faculty and students. For example, he will collect about the students. From the students, he will collect a lot of information. For example, from where the students they study or before coming to the university, what is their age, and the student is male or female, what is the major of the student, how many brothers and sisters the student have, what their father do, what is their profession, etc. Lots of this information will be good and important, but a lot of this information will not be important. So in the analysis phase, we will analyze or observe that information. So let's see how it happens. So in the analysis, what we do is we basically order and understand whatever we have collected in the requirements phase. So if you see, we have seen requirements. In the analysis here, what we do is that the results of the observation interview, so these were the steps that we used in the requirements phase. We need them, those results, we need them to be ordered or in sequence. So what is the purpose of this thing? We want to bring out important or key issues, and we want to communicate these important issues with the later stages of design. So the analysis phase, we want to analyze the information, and we want to arrange that information, and we want to separate the important information and the non-important, irrelevant information. All this information is later passed on to the next step, which is the most important step, which is called the design. Okay, so over here for the analysis, we will study two important things: the scenarios, and then we will see also the task analysis. Task analysis we will not cover in this course. So what is a scenario? That we will see. Scenario is basically used for two purposes. It's like a story. So you will see the scenario, we will discuss it, and you will see that we have already seen this thing in our daily lives. So scenario is like a story, and it's used multiple times, used and reused. So scenario is basically stories for design, and let me give you an example, only then it will become more clear. So let me go out. And if you see over here, I have got a washing machine manual. So already this thing is on the SharePoint. If I open it, so this is a book that comes with the washing machine. When you buy a washing machine, such a manual or book, it comes with any product you buy. For example, a fridge, refrigerator, uh, uh, cooking range, microwave oven, anything you buy, you see a small manual with this. So if you look at this book, there are many topics in this manual. For example, what are the different instructions before you use, and what are the different parts of the washing machine. So you keep on looking at the different items. So you will see many things, and there will be a step somewhere how to use. Okay, So how to use, first of all, they will tell you what are the different buttons on the front panel or the interface. So remember, in this course we discuss the interface. So here the interface is given to you. So this is the place where the human interacts with this machine. Okay. So what we want to do over here with the scenarios is, scenario represents one particular set of actions that you can use to that you can apply to use that product. So for example, one action is how to operate the machine or how to operate the washer. So it has got many steps. You have to follow all these steps so that you can wash your clothes in this washing machine. So for example, first step is sort the laundry and load the washer. So take your clothes and put it inside the washing machine. Put the detergent, so this is the powder, you put in the machine. Then you turn on the washer. Press this button. Then you select the type of the washing you want to do. It's a cotton, wool, or some other type of cloth. And then you select more different options, and finally you select begin, start button, this one. So this is the example of scenario. Scenario represents some sort of story for design. Normally the scenario is linear. So linearity means that it goes in a straight line, it goes in a sequence of actions. You perform one action, then you go for the next action. Because the time is linear, our lives, they pass on linearly. So that's why this thing also is linear. And it is easy to understand the scenario because it's like our lives. For example, in our lives, how we pass a day, we wake up, we do some activities, we take breakfast, many things, then we come to university, then we take classes. So things go on in a sequence. Similarly, scenario is also in a sequence, and that's why they are easy to understand. But there is one big problem with scenarios. They don't give you alternative. Alternative means second or option, another option. So for example, if one scenario gives you how to wash the cotton in washing machine, then you cannot use that scenario. You don't know how to use another type of cloth over there. Maybe some other cloth, for example, someone wants to wash the jeans or very hard cloth. So in that case, maybe the scenario will be different. Steps will be different. So one scenario can only represent one sequence of actions. Clear? So normally scenarios, they represent what will the user want to do. And normally they are step-by-step walkthrough. Walkthrough means they take you through the steps. They give you a guide. Walkthrough is like a guide. So it is a step-by-step guide. And they show you what can the user see. For example, there will be sketch, there will be screenshot. So what they can do. So if you see this washing machine manual, you see over here small sketches, small diagrams. So they show you what you can expect. What are the buttons they are talking about? For example, start button, turn on button. It is like this. So this is how they represent. So they show you something like a sketch or a screenshot. Similarly, they will tell you what to do. Like press the keyboard button or press the mouse. Similarly, here they tell you clearly. Turn on the washer, or over here number 7 step, begin cycle. Press the start button. So you do these things, and many step-by-step guide, they also give you the idea what the user can be thinking. Clear? They give you an idea what the user can be thinking about some step. So it helps sometimes if user can get confused, what user can think, they will give an explanation for that. Scenarios are good things. They can be used and they can be reused throughout the design. What does it mean? Reused throughout the design? That we'll see. So reuse means that scenario is basically a general set of instructions. Many people can use it. For example, washing machine is produced in a factory. So in the factory, before they when the product or washing machine is completed, maybe an engineer comes and he will use those steps or scenario to test one of the machines. Maybe 100 machines they produce, and one of them they test it if it is working properly. Then the washing machine comes in the shop in a big supermarket, and the worker working over there, he or she will test the washing machine, maybe how it works, or at least read the scenario and try to understand. If the customer asks some question, they should know already. Clear? So this is the second step that happens. And then it can be reused again by the user. User will read it at home and he or she will try to use the washing machine, how it works. And again, it can be used again in the future by some mechanic or in the workshop when the washing machine is not working. They may read the manual. They can read a particular scenario to know how the particular steps will work. So it is reused many times throughout the product's life cycle. Clear? So here next we will show you a example of scenario. Again, the scenario given over here, it is like a paragraph. It's not good. We will not do it like that. Clear? So the scenario that's given is so long. It's about some person, Brian. He has invited his friend and they want to watch a movie, and its scenario is about the movie player, how it works. So all of these things is just useless. And the scenario starts from here after this blue text, the text in blue color. So he downloads some movie from the internet, and after it downloads to his machine, he takes out his new personal movie player. Again, the scenario is like persona. It's given in a paragraph, but when you will be asked about the scenario, you will be writing them as points, one sentence in each point. So he takes out his new personal movie player. So this is scenario about the movie player. For example, how to use it. He presses the menu button. Okay. And on the small LCD screen, so when he press the menu button on the CD player or movie player, on the small screen of the CD player, he scrolls means go down. So there are small options given on the screen, and he is using the arrow keys to connect Bluetooth connect. So he has got a lot of options. He uses the up and down button to select this option, Bluetooth connect. So he uses this and presses the select button to connect Bluetooth. On this, on his computer, the movie download program now has an icon showing that it has recognized a compatible device. So when the movie player, what he wants to do is that he has a movie player. He wants to connect this movie player with the laptop. Okay, because he downloaded a movie from the internet on his laptop, and he wants to transfer this movie. Those of you who have maybe done it at homes, he wants to transfer this movie from the laptop to his movie player. So he wants to connect the laptop and the movie player through the Bluetooth. Maybe some of you have already seen laptops. You can connect them to the mobile phone or other devices using the Bluetooth. So it will communicate wirelessly and the data will be transferred. So similar thing they want to do over here. So on his computer, the movie download program now has an icon showing that it has recognized a compatible device. So it now finds out that there is a device, and he drags the icon of the film over the icon of the player. So he pulls the movie and wants to put it on the movie player. So drags the icon of the film on the icon of the player. What does it mean? It means something like this. If we do, for example, so I take this icon and I drag it and I put it over here. So if this icon PDF file, it's a movie, he will put it on the movie player icon. So it will start running the movie. That's what they want to say over here. So what he does is that when he drags like this the icon and put it on the icon of the player, on the player LCD screen they will say there will be the instruction downloading now and the percent done indicator. So this is a small scenario, but it's a bad one. I don't like it. For you people, I will suggest to follow this scenario. Over here you see a small scenario. So you have got sort the laundry and load the washer, put in the detergent, the powder for washing, turn on the washer. These are the steps given, and then there are details also given. Select the washing cycle, what type of washing you want. Select the cycle setting. So for example, what type of washing details you want. You want to wash extra, you want to spin extra, or so then you select the cycle options. So some other options, and finally you begin the cycle. And then also you can check anytime the time how much it is left for completing. Clear? So this is how it works. Pause it and go through it, both of them. This scenario in the slides and also scenario for the washing machine. In the washing machine scenario, it's given on page number 16. Go through it, ask questions. So what is the importance of scenario other than it will help to run the product? So if there is a new microwave you buy from the market, if there is no booklet, no scenario, you cannot, it will be very difficult to run that machine. Okay. So for that purpose, what one other thing that the scenario we can use is it can help us to find the bad things inside a product. For example, now this example is a very bad example. I don't like it. You can say very stupid example, but let's see. So here you have seen this thing over here. This is a small knife. Okay. This knife is mostly called as Swiss Army knife. Try to search it in Google. So for example, so here it is. Swiss Army knife is this thing. Maybe you have seen it many times, but you don't know the name. So Swiss Army knife is a small knife that contains a large set of options. Okay, like this. So it has got a large number of options. It is called Swiss Army knife because this knife was first created, designed by the Swiss Army for their soldiers. Okay. So Swiss Army knife, and what we want to do is that we want to use this. Let's say there is a small company that wants to create a Swiss Army knife that can be connected to the internet, and you can download any instruction to do any type of task using this knife. Because remember, in this knife, if you see, there are many tools, at least 7 or 10 tools. So you can do any type of thing with these tools, and the instructions will come from the internet. So you just make a mock-up device, means it's not real. You want to make such product. It does not exist. You want to make a knife that connects to the internet. Okay. So let's say what you do is that you put a small white paper or a sticker on one side of the knife and you say that this will be the screen. You read the screen, whatever is the instruction downloaded from internet, and then you will use, for example, you want to open the clip that is on the water pipe. So this is a water pipe and there is a clip and you want to open it using the Swiss Army knife. And you don't know how to open it, you download these instructions from the internet. Clear? So how to do this? You will read the instructions from the internet and then you will try to do it practically. Okay. For this purpose, you use a small toothpick. So this is a small stick. You want to use it as a stylus to select some options on the screen. Okay. Now this is one of the designs which is possible. And what can be bad with this design? The bad thing about this design, whatever approach it is, that most of the time, or you can say 80 or 90% of the time, when you are using the device, you will have your hand or your thumb that is covering the screen. You cannot use this screen when you are working with the device. And there is one more problem, that your hand, when you put more force on your hand or your thumb, it can break the screen. Is it clear? So this is the idea, the purpose of the scenario. Scenario can give you an idea that what you want to do, maybe it can have problems. That is the advantage of scenario. It can give you an idea about a bad interface or a bad design. Clear? So what can be the solution? Think over it if you have any solution for this problem. One solution that can be done for this device is that instead of using the screen, or maybe you use a screen for some time, but you put a small speaker and all the instructions that will come to open this clip, those instructions will be in the audio format as a sound. Instead of watching the screen and opening it, why not there is a sound that will be conveying the message, that will be that the person can listen to that sound and he can open at the same time this clip. Clear? So this is one idea of the scenarios. Scenarios, they help us to explore the depth. So it can help us a lot about the lot of things. It can help us to explore the interaction. So for example, when a person will press the start button in the washing machine, when the person will press the on button of the washing machine. So it can help us to explore the interaction. So if some step is missing, scenario can easily find out that step. So in the case of washing machine, if you go back, if I forget to mention this step, step number 3, turn on the washing machine, all other steps, they cannot be done. If the washing machine is not on, you cannot select the different types of cycle, or you cannot press the start button. So it will help you identify if you have done some mistake. Clear? So you can explore the interaction between the human and the machine. It can also help you, the scenario can also help you to explore your cognition or marfa, the knowledge. So you can find out more about the product, how it can be used. What are the good points? What are the bad points of interaction? Clear? So what the users are thinking, or how the machine will behave if the user press the on button, what will happen? When the users select the cycle, particular cycle, what will happen next? All these things, the users and the machine, what will happen, they can be explored with particular scenario. And finally, scenario can help us to explore or to find out more about the architecture or the design. So we can know what is happening inside the machine, not only on the interface. For example, I press the start button, not only on the front what will happen, but also inside what is happening in the architecture. So when we press the start button, what will happen next? Maybe the machine will start rotating. The drum of the machine will start rotating. So these are some of the things that are given. So this is a typical exam question sometimes. The three important uses of scenarios. Scenarios, they help you to explore interaction, explore the cognition, and explore the architecture of the system, overall system. Clear? Scenarios are also used for other purpose. So this was the use of scenarios to explore. Overall, scenarios can be used to communicate with others. Scenario will help to communicate to other designers who are making the product, like who is creating the washing machine. It can be used by another engineer. Okay. It can be used by the clients and the users. So what's the difference between client and user? User is the person who is using, for example, the washing machine. You and me who go to the shop and buy the washing machine, we are users. Client is the person who is involved in overall buying this thing from the company, for example. So for example, the supermarket, for example, Lulu, they buy it from the LG company, so they are the clients. They buy it from them, from the company, so they are the clients. So scenarios can help to communicate to all of them. Scenarios help us to validate other models. So for example, there is one washing machine that comes in the market, its model number is 10. There is another washing machine that comes in the future, model number 13. We can use this scenario with little bit of changes to validate or to test the future model. So we can test the future models, or what we can do is that we can play the two models in parallel. Run, wash some clothes is model 10 and wash some other set of cloth on machine number 13, model number 13. So we will try to find out the difference between model 10 and 13. What's the difference? How it changes. So it helps us to express the dynamics in a better way, and it helps us how the things will happen. We will understand more about the design, about the interface with the help of scenarios. Without scenario, so you go to the shop, you buy a new iPhone. Initially, maybe you don't know anything about the iPhone or its applications. So you will use the small booklet that comes with the mobile phone, and you open it, and it will give you a little bit of introduction how to use it. So in the scenario, there will be small screenshots that will show you how the things will happen. And the overall scenario will also tell you the behavior of the product. When you want to use the iPhone, it will tell you, the scenario will tell you how to, for example, make a phone call or how to take a picture. Clear? So these are some of the typical uses of scenarios. So in this lecture, we have seen about the scenarios till now. What they are the stories for a design, and they are good because they are linear, like our lives, easy to understand. So they help us to find out what the users want, and they are like just like the guide, step-by-step guide to go through for the users. Scenarios, they help us, they can be used and reused many times throughout the product life cycle, used by many people, the designers, engineers, clients, users, many people use it. This was the example of the scenario we saw, and then scenarios, they can help us to find out some bad design interface. So we want to, for example, make a new product or a new thing, which was a Swiss Army knife with a computer connection, with an internet connection, and we saw that it's a bad design because we cannot use the screen while using the knife. So scenarios, they can help us to explore about many things, explore the interaction, explore the knowledge or cognition, and explore the architecture of the product. Scenarios, they help us to communicate with others. They also can be used to validate other models, and they help us to express the dynamics, to understand the product in a better way. There are good and bad points about the linearity. We saw in the start linearity. Scenarios, they give us only one linear path, only one set of steps for one thing only. So if you want to wash cloth, it will only guide you about one type of cloth, only, for example, cotton. If you want to wash another type of cloth, for example, wool, it will not help you. So there are good points. Pros means the good points, that scenarios are like life. So life and time are linear. So that's why scenarios are also linear, easy to understand. They are like stories and they are natural. And most of the time scenarios are concrete, means they are solid. And there are less chances of errors because there are steps given. For example, in the washing machine scenario, you have 7 or 8 steps. And there are very less chance of error because their steps are very, very clear. The bad thing about the scenarios is that they have no choice. There is no branch and there is no special condition. So you don't have the choice. You can't give another choice that you can use cotton cloth or you can use wool cloth. There is no branch. It's not allowed. And sometimes, and there is no special condition. For example, in the winter, how you should wash the cloth. In the summer, how you should wash the cloth. There is no special condition. And one important thing in the scenarios is sometimes the designer thinks that some of the steps are very clear. Okay. And it is so clear that the designer will not write it in the scenario. And for user, maybe it's not clear and this will make a big problem. Miss the unintended. Something very simple, but user will not understand it. So one example is, for example, in the laptops scenario, maybe it's written that you want to create a new folder. You click on something, and by clicking it means double click. Maybe a new user don't know what is double click or what is single click. So it will be a big problem. So these bad points about the scenarios, we can remove them by creating multiple scenarios and multiple methods. So you create one scenario for cotton cloth, one for wool, one for children cloth, one for jeans. So for each type of problem, you will have a separate scenario. Similarly, if something is missing, maybe you can add one more scenario to represent some extra information. So this was the topic on the scenarios. I hope it is clear. So next time we will go to the design phase in the next class. Any questions, come to the group and we will discuss over there.